So those are my 5 points. Do you have any questions?
That's a lot of information, and
It
it's
is. It's
wonderful
complicated. It's
information.
very complicated. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to take the time and sit with my clients and make sure that they understand what it is that we're doing. So I take lots of extra time. I spend time with my clients, both before we agreed to take on the estate planning, and afterwards, and then before we even sign up their documents, I sit down with them for, I don't know, half hour,
Yep.
and just go through them. And I say, do you understand what it is that we're doing? I really try and do that because, I don't want somebody coming back to me, what did I just sign?
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes, but I really try and make sure that I've spent the time with the client, making sure that they understand what it is that we're doing. Because lots of people think, well, I know I have to do this, but I don't want to think about it. And
Well, I do think it's important to make clear what will happen if we don't draw up our own wills. What happens to your estate, your assets, all that stuff. What happens?
Well, if you die and without it, then New York State has it for you. You may not like the plan. Like, for example, like if you die and you have, let's say you have a spouse and some children, right?
Mhm.
Okay, your surviving spouse gets $50,000 off the top, and then half of your estate, and then the rest go to your kids. So if you wanted to leave everything to your spouse, you would have to affirmatively do that in a will or some sort of testamentary device, like a living trust, which is not as popular in New York. Leaving everything to the spouse. Otherwise, the spouse splits it after $50,000. Maybe, they get the knickknacks in the house and things like that and the car, but, you might not want your kids splitting that with your spouse.
Yeah.
You might not. I mean, some people are fine with it, but, your spouse might not be fine with it either. Obviously that doesn't take into account, sorry?
Does it matter the age of the children when that happens?
Well, no, it doesn't matter the age because that's a testamentary scheme. Not a testament. That's the what is it? The intestacy scheme. Because if you die without a will, it's called dying intestate. And if you die without intestate, then the intestacy statute kicks in. And it goes after that. If you just have kids, and it goes to your kids equally, and that's okay a lot of the times. But it might not be. And then it goes, up the chain. It goes to parents, and then it goes to, uncles and aunts, and then cousins and things like that. And you might not want those people to get everything. Like I have cousins that I don't speak to, at all. And, I wouldn't want them to get my stuff. I mean, they're great people, but I don't want them to have my thing. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. So how does somebody get started? How do they get started? Where do they go?
Well, I mean, the important thing to get started is to talk to somebody who does estate planning. So either that's your, maybe your financial advisor, they know people, or if you know an attorney, they know other attorneys who do estate planning.
And of course you.
Well, yeah, you could call me, but you might not want to, but I'd be happy to if you called me. But that's, but not everybody wants that. You might want to go with somebody that to recommend somebody to you. That's usually the way it works. Usually people refer people to me because they know me, or they know of me at least, and they know that about how I feel about this. This is, something I've dedicated a large portion of my life to, and it's something I think is really important because, when my father died in back in 2008, I had to help my mother like do the stuff that he should have done. And that was very difficult for me. Because, I was upset, obviously, and I was grieving, and he did some of his planning, but he didn't do it well enough. Let's put it that way. And, you don't want to be struggling to do that. You don't want to be picking out like the place where you're going to bury your father if you don't have to. You don't want, like to be dealing with the stuff, the companies when your parent didn't like put the right beneficiary designation in place.
Yeah.
that sort of thing. You just don't. You want everything to work smoothly because you don't have the bandwidth for that after somebody dies. And that's what I talk about it being a very big gift that you can leave like your relatives, is you can get that straight, and so that it works very smoothly. They don't have to think about it. And, you know, if you have a family attorney that's been working with you on your estate planning for a while,
Yeah.
they know you. They can help you. They'll come to to your house and you know, they'll sit with you and they'll go through what you have and what you owed, and they'll help you figure out what to do. And, you know, I mean, I'm happy to be as hands-on as my clients want me to, or as hands-off. But, you know, if my clients need me to manage things for them, I do that.
Yeah.
I take over for them and do the stuff that they don't want to do. If they don't know how to do. Sometimes you have to work with banks that getting rid of mortgages. Like I have this estate that now that I'm working on, I'm trying to get rid of a couple mortgages that the decedent had. You know,
Wow.
the family doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I do. I want to deal with that. I want to help you with that. That's what I do.
And it's also very scary right now because of the number of people dying. I mean, every day I know somebody who's dying, and some of them have planning in place. Some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can afford an attorney. Some of them are unfortunately looking at alternatives because they don't have the money to be able to do this the right way. And they're seeing issues on the back end if they don't get all their ducks in a row. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are ways that you can do it as an attorney too, where if people don't have the money to do this, there are ways that you can help them figure out how to do it more cost effectively. Let's put it that way. It isn't always, you know, it isn't always like if you can't afford it, you can't have it.
Right.
There are attorneys that work with people. We work with people on sliding scales sometimes. Sometimes we help people figure out how to do it themselves so that it's done the right way. Or sometimes we have, you know, figure out how to help them how to like execute the documents that they've drafted and improved. We've improved.
That's
So
great.
there are people that do that too. Yeah.
It would be scary to end up in a situation where you didn't have anything and you couldn't do anything about it. So
That's right. I think it is. I mean, you don't want to be in that situation, particularly, you know, on the incapacity side of things. I really think that gets overlooked. People focus more on the will because, you know, it's scary to die, but it's scary to be incapacitated and not to have anybody there for you. It's scary to be in the hospital and not have anybody looking out for you.
Absolutely.
That's what this is about, really.
Yeah.
This is about making sure that there's somebody that's monitoring your wishes. And, you know, something else we do is we also do a lot of times burial directives, like for people that have specific burial wishes that they want. We all do that. We do a burial agent. So you name a burial agent, somebody who knows what you want and how you want it done.
my friend's father just passed away yesterday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And he chose to be cremated, but it's now April. They can't get him cremated until May 15th.
Yeah.
So it's like, but he was very specific. He did the planning and he had a directive. He had everything written out. He even wrote letters to each of his children in advance, telling them what his wishes were. He planned out his memorial service and which church and how he wanted it done and what he wanted read. I mean, this is one extreme. And then you have the other extreme where somebody doesn't have anything in place. And we just don't know. This could happen with this pandemic. We don't know who can go at any point in time, sick or not sick. So this is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
sad, but necessary topic.
One of the things now we're also recommending. One of the things we're also recommending that clients do now is also make a list of their digital accounts and their passwords. And one of the things that we build into all of our documents too is we appoint the agents under the durable power of attorney and also the executors as to give them the power to access and terminate or save the electronic information. If you don't have that built into like a durable power of attorney and somebody logs on for you, if you're incapacitated, that's breaking the law under New York. So, you gotta have, something that, I mean, you're not supposed to access somebody's account if you're not that person. I mean,
Yeah.
people do it all the time, and, you know, they don't get caught, but technically, you know, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to, you know, have that power in a power of attorney document, or, you know, if the person's dead, then, you know, you got to be in the will.
That's a great point. Because I know we have our accounts list. It's like a mile long.
Right.
Because we're very tech oriented.
Right.
But that's
Right.
a very good point. I never thought of that.
Change passwords, Priya?
Huh?
You guys update when you change your passwords?
Yeah, we always update.
That's great.
And Wade, my husband's very, very like vigilant about it. He's like,
That's great.
you know,
I think that's fantastic. But, you know, now you got to build that in with your durable power of attorney and your will. It works very well.
yeah.
Yep.
Michael, this has been amazing information, and we really appreciate it. You know, we're a part
Anytime.
entertainment
Anytime.
and part education, and this today was lots of education. So
Important education.
yeah. Do you feel ready to jump on in?
Yeah, well, I just want to say that if anybody really wants to do their urgent planning, I urge them to go to our website. It's www.urgentplanning.com. That'll give you a portal. You can log right in, and we're on top of that. If we need, you know, you need urgent planning, we'll get it done. We'll get it done very quickly for you. So that's urgentplanning.com.
And you've got a great amount of information on there, so thank you. Priya, are you ready to jump in and do your urgent planning?
Yes.
Priya has a husband and 3 children, so
Oh, wow.
it's so
Okay.
important because
Multiple businesses.
Priya was
Yeah.
wearing a mask.
Are your kids young? Are your kids
Yeah.
young? Or,
Yeah, my youngest is 13, so 17, 16, and 13.
okay, well, the
Um,
17-year-old's almost getting ready to be able to do their own planning now.
Yes, yes, going to college soon.
Priya was
Okay,
wearing
well,
a
before he
mask.
goes to college, you at least got to get the incapacity documents done for them.
Yeah.
And I recommend the basic will too, but that's, you know, up to you. But yeah, definitely the incapacity
The
documents.
urgent planning for her family, and she was wearing a mask before masks were required. So,
That's
Yes.
awesome.
all right. Well, this has been another episode of Tips with Joan and Priya. We're so grateful to Michael Feinfeld for joining us today, talking about estate planning and wills and all of that not so fun stuff that's really important.
But it's
right?
important. Everybody's thinking about it now. You see on Facebook, everybody's posting something
Everybody's
about
talking.
someone who's sick or who has passed
Right.
away.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
insane.
So
Well,
you're-
it may not be fun for people, but it's what I do, and I really love what I do. So
Yeah.
if it means anything, I really love it. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
allowing me the opportunity to speak.
Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
How do they reach you, Michael?
Oh, well, they reach me through Holm O'Hara. It's m.feinfeld at hohlaw.com. That's my email address. Or you could go through the portal on the urgent planning website,
We'll put that in the comments below.
Awesome.
www.urgentplanning.com, or you could call my office, which is 212, 682-2142.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
We'll see
Thanks
you.
for tuning in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.